Jen. How's it going?
Hey, good. Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Oh, good. Nice to
Good.
well, nice to be on this LinkedIn audio, instead of a LinkedIn live.
See, right?
Yep.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and kick this off. We got 30 minutes for our LinkedIn audio event today. Today we're covering AI workers. The future of work is here. My name is Lauren Frazier. I'm the VP of Marketing here at ScaleWith. Joining me on this LinkedIn audio event is James Tintero, or Jim, our fearless CEO. Jim, you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Oh, yeah. Jim Tantero, CEO of ScaleWith, and I've been in the tech industry for those that I don't know on this audio for 29 years, and I've seen every shift and transformation. Excited to be part of this conversation.
Fantastic. And then also joining us is my partner in crime, Leah Parisian. Leah, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Leah. I am a Gen AI heavy user. It's a problem. Everything from Midjourney to ChatGPT to our very own social impact co-pilot. And I can't wait to dig into this topic with you.
Yeah. So, today we want to talk about AI workers. AI is a hot button topic here in every facet of the life that we live, whether you have a AI device in your home or be it Google or Amazon. You also have an AI that lives in your phone. We also, if you look at the generational and transformation of AI through time, right, it actually isn't even a new concept. It started out in the 1950s, but what we think about in today's world, right, we think about HAL, the AI car. We think about Terminator. We think about artificial intelligence. Maybe it came out, I think, in the early 2000s. And then even today, right, how artificial intelligence is used from, our devices that I just mentioned. And even now today in this different forms of generative AI or neural pathway AI, and how technology is leveraging AI to do a lot of really cool things. And so we wanted to take a minute and just kind of at a high level dive in, because there's a lot to unpack with AI. We're not going to be able to cover it all in this 30 minutes, but we want to start with AI workers. What are they? How do we use them? And how do we better use the technology that we have at our fingertips to drive better outcomes for our businesses and operations? So I'll pass it over to you, Jim, to talk a little bit about your concept on AI workers and the transformation journey you've seen through technology. As you mentioned, you've got 20 years of technology experience.
Yeah, lots of technology. So I always look at this. I'll get to the AI worker, but let's take a step back and just think through the transformational shifts that we've seen, even last 10, 15 years. When I think about where we're at with AI today, I think about grounding myself in the evolution that I went through for many years when I started at Salesforce, joining that company way back in the early or 2010 roughly, right? They were driving that revolution of cloud, social, and mobile. And when I got there, they were really leading from the front on this cloud transformation, moving from companies from on-prem into the cloud. And everybody was trying to figure that out, what it meant for them, what it meant for jobs, what it meant for digital transformation and organizations making that shift. And as we've seen, everything has moved into the cloud or some hybrid strategy. But think also about how transformative social and mobile has been to everything in business. Social, when I was back in the day at Salesforce, we looked at social as Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, LinkedIn and everything, and how businesses set up their social properties to connect with customers in entirely new ways, to sell through, to get to market to, all that. It's such a transformative shift. And look what we do here at ScaleWith. We use LinkedIn as our primary way to reach out and drive brand voice and awareness. And then mobile. Mobile was, think about when things started moving to any device. And we all said, there's no way. Now, I mean, we all are doing work from any device, anywhere, anytime on the planet. So I always say that shift was so fast and transformative. But what we see today with AI, and especially with AI workers, is it's moving is so much faster, light years faster. And let me key in on this, because when this concept around AI worker, has been, there's a lot of conversation happening around it, but you're seeing it every day, and you're seeing it in the business, Lauren and Leah, that we do with AI at the forefront. Okay, so think about Leah. I have to say to you, because you always get me to integrate AI into my day to day. So Leah and I, right, we work in ChatGPT 4.0, we work in Gemini, Anthropic, and so all these tools. And primarily, if you see the revolution that's happening in AI and the AI assistants, these things are great at those prompts that first level. Ask it a question, it prepares an email for you and I, Leah, right? It's like, or you ask it a question, it does some basic research. I always think that was like a year ago or a year or so ago, like that was like transformative because it saved us productivity. Now what we're seeing is those tier 2, tier 3, and beyond tasks that are happening every day now as this transformative shift is happening so quick. Like, look at call centers and the transformation like Sierra.ai is doing in that use case. I mean, these are complex tasks that these agents and multi-agent strategies that companies are deploying are able to execute. Opening cases, responding to customers, taking notes, capturing insights, closing the cases, sending the CSAT out. All of those end-to-end very complicated tasks that businesses are relying upon these agents to do is really mind-blowing. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts, Leah, when we talk about this, is like this evolution from prompts and assistants to like collaborators, orchestrators of tasks that we are working side by side with these agents to do.
Yeah, that was a great introduction into how things have shifted. And I think we're very well prepared to embrace the AI revolution because of the UI. We're very familiar with search engines, and because the interface in most cases, especially ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, is so simple and users are accustomed to it, the adoption rate will be high. Yes, there are concerns around regulation, data leakage, things like that. But from a UI perspective, it's not like when we had the mobile phones that were flip phones and then all of a sudden you had like a Nextel or a Sidekick. You don't have that design problem that you did with some previous technologies. So I think the real advantage is going to be teaching people how to be prompt engineers. And then even if the AI returns results, how do you take those insights and make it actionable? And how can you trust the data that it returns? What are some of those processes and the mechanisms? But I mean, I use AI from everything from meal planning to coming up with workouts to figuring out my fashion style in Midjourney. I am super curious and always trying to find both use cases in my personal life and in business. And I use it a ton at Scale With too, to do deep personalization segmentation and to even do brand voice for our customers. So if they don't have a developed brand voice or brand style, I can take their content, organize it in such a way, and give it a social impact spin so that they can have more relevancy and impact in the market.
Yeah, let's go to a couple of use cases on how an AI worker is embedded with our customers. I mean, with that, Lee and Lauren, that might be a good way to kind of double click into how we're seeing this and how we're innovating in real time with our customers to have these AI workers as collaborative forces in their organizations. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, the first thing I think we should cover, though, because I think that there's a lot of confusion between the different types of AI. And then we say AI workers, and I think that there's this negative assumption that they're coming for our jobs, right? Technology, AI is coming for our jobs. So, Leah, can you define AI worker and what it means for someone that works in maybe the technology space? I'd love to hear like the definition or how it works, and then let's dive into some use cases and how it's not actually replacing what we're doing, but actually enhancing how we operate in say marketing even.
Yeah, and it depends on the tier. So some will just be as simple as automating tasks, things that are really repetitive, like data entry, invoice processing. Others are more like you can think of chatbots and virtual assistants. Sometimes it'll ask you a set of 3 questions and then send you on your choose your adventure until you potentially get frustrated and want to speak to an individual. There's data analysis. It really comes to, I guess, the level of sophistication, but they can range from something as simple as automating a repetitive, redundant task to taking data and making recommendations, forecasting. You'll see it sometimes in specialized fields like healthcare, diagnosing diseases, identifying cancers, even treatment plans. So it's a wide spectrum, but for most industries, they're still at that nascent embryonic phase of prompt generation, which is still super powerful.
Yep. Lauren, are you there?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here, Jim. So I really like, Leah, how you define that, because again, I think there's a misconception out there that AI is going to replace the human experience when it comes to the workplace, and that's actually not the case. I think that there's a lot of opportunity to take advantage of the AI technology that we have today and enhance how we do work. We do work smarter, not harder. There's a lot of manual tasks that we do that can be automated just by simply leveraging AI. So that being said, Jim, I would love to dive into those use cases that you mentioned before. So let's talk through some of the ways we at ScaleWith are leveraging AI to make a better customer experience, drive marketing and sales. Do you want to give an example?
Yeah, let's double click into this, because if I'm listening to the audio, I'm like, okay, everybody's getting inundated. Use cases are how I ground myself in this whole of where I'm seeing the future move. So we're working right now. We were on a call yesterday with a customer that's in implementation. And so their 2 use cases are they're leveraging our platform for outbound lead generation for their net new logo strategy, right? So that's the first one. Let's talk about that. Then we'll dive into the second one. So in that situation, traditionally, what would that be? You two are some of the most amazing marketers. You've spent your whole career in it. You'd have right, Leah and Lauren, you'd have a marketing team. You've got to drive, put together a budget. What's the ROI? Start working on what is the segmentation, targeting, and positioning approach, whether it's an ABM or an industry-based outbound for net new logo, right, strategy. Then you got to develop the copy, the content, the visualization, and then you got to set it free on its journey with a marketing automation tool, and hopefully that you'll see the lead scores go up. That's traditional, correct? I mean that's what we all live and breathe every day.
Yep.
And what we're seeing in our use case though is that that's still going to happen, but now that team has an embedded AI agent powered by ScaleWith. And in that example, that agent is there to help put together what is the business value hypothesis. If we spend X dollars to run a net new logo campaign targeted toward an industry. And so they're doing that. Normally you'd have a value engineer or a person back and forth. So you're cutting weeks of time and cost out of the equation to get to your answer. The second thing is you're using the AI agent in collaboration with the marketing team to identify the narrative, the copy, and what is the external communication and outreach. So that AI agent is a collaborative force with the marketing team to take lots of time out of the equation to get to the, to get to the campaign. And lastly, which is I go back to the tier 2 tasks and beyond, our AI agent powered by ScaleWith is also creating visualization. Now, it's not creating the stuff that that you guys are pumping out, like, that fidelity, but it's getting draft versions and V2 versions. So it, right away, it's driving visualization, tier 2 tasks. And so in this example, think about the efficiencies and productivity gains that are happening and cutting time and energy and, some, elongated processes out of the equation. So the AI agent is a collaborator. It's a teammate, as we learned from the naming from Asana on our last LinkedIn event last week. It's a teammate. It orchestrates tasks. So it's going beyond prompts. It's going beyond that tier 1 task level stuff that we were talking about. And it's a powerful use case. I mean, what are your thoughts, Lauren and Lee, on that, how we're working with that customer on this?
I love what you said, Jim. And I think something that early on in my career, when we had larger teams and was time for testing, the benefit of doing this, having this Gen AI, doing the copy, the personalization, getting you to that 80%, 85% of the way there, is that marketing's real job is to test, iterate, and experiment. But because we're usually so bogged down in the minutia, we never actually get to test and refine our messaging on the level that we need to, like 30-day plans, 50-day plans. So that has been probably the biggest game changer, is the speed to market and the ability to test and personalize at scale with our unique value differentiator, which is social impact. And in a market that's so saturated with so many competitors, with really defined category kings and queens, standing out is harder than ever. So this is a new lever to use for your business and for your customers, and it creates new value, visibility, earned media. So that is something that's been a real game changer, is speed and scale and testing.
Yeah. Yes. Let me give you another. I love this conversation because now I'm going to touch a topic that, and I see some people online that are attending our session.
And feel free to ask questions too. Just raise your hand.
Any questions. But we got a great colleague of mine that is in attendance. I'm calling you out not by name, but from Logic.io, great company, and just an incredible colleague and leader that I've worked with. Here's a great use case, and I get excited about this one. As much as marketing, I love sales. Sales to me is art and science. It always has been. So traditionally, what do? Like we're all in sales in some capacity. You're out there, you're prospecting, you're working with marketing, you're running a sales motion. You're either selling to enterprise, commercial, mid-market, or PubSec in some capacity, right? And so you're there, you're trying to differentiate. Like Leah, you say, you're trying to stand out and be noticed as having something that's going to solve a pain point for a customer. You're trying to drive deal velocity. You're trying to drive forecast accuracy, and you're trying to build trust, right? That's fundamentally what you're doing in a selling cycle. And ultimately, if all those things come together and you run a nice process with a good value case, you're going to win some business. Well, how we look at it, our AI agent embeds with the salesperson throughout. And no, we don't sit outside of tools. So it's not some swivel chair where we're, here's another platform. We're embedded in the flow of work and in the systems of engagement. So if you're in Salesforce or HubSpot or Microsoft Dynamics, our AI, our data, our platform integrates seamlessly through an open API into those systems. So we just, cohesively work side by side with the sales representative on a deal, on a prospecting call. And so what I love about our AI agent is it's there to help the sales representative differentiate themselves. Right? So it's there to be, that assistant to provide insights into that company and what that company cares about deeply, or that industry cares about in terms of social impact areas, how their suppliers look at social impact areas that matter most to them. So that's what's really cool, is that our data is always pumping into those systems of engagement, providing robustness of that customer record, and our AI is surfacing recommendations. So it's that collaborator with the sales rep, and it's driving where there's an opportunity to have a different conversation, to differentiate how they show up in that meeting, etc. Not only does it do that, but as you're progressing the sales deal stage by stage, our AI agent, the collaborator with the sales representative, is matching opportunities to embed social impact as a differentiator. It creates a proposal to addendum to the sales transaction to stand out and differentiate in that sales motion. It's all being done by the agent. So the agent, in my days at Salesforce or Avanti or in my career, salespeople are always at their best self when they have either SE or a specialist or all these resources that come together, because no one wins alone. Well, in our situation, no one wins alone with Scale With, because we power it with our AI agent. So the agent is there to help differentiate, to help provide insights in that customer during the sales pursuit. It identifies social areas that those companies or industries care deeply about, and it does the end-to-end processing of embedding the contribution in the proposal, creates the proposal, and when the deal closes, it automates the end-to-end processing of that. I mean, think about all those traditional resources, Lauren and Leah, and the folks on the call. You have deal desk, you have specialists, you have SEs, you have legal, all that. Our AI agent takes the human out of the loop and becomes that collaborative force with the sales representative. It's pretty powerful.
That's a really good point.
That's a great use case, because we're working with our customer on that right now. And it's like, this is something that it's people are actually embracing it. They're not scared of it. It's the revolution that's in front of us.
And I think you bring up a good point, Jim, is that you're removing a lot of potential roadblocks, right? You're enabling the salesperson really to get something done quicker. And it's still a generative AI, right? It still requires the manual prompts from the human interaction, but it reduces the friction points where, a salesperson is having to wait on answers from a solution architect or a solution engineer or someone from the production team where, that salesperson is waiting on answers. And instead they're able to use these AI prompts and get immediate answers to questions that they might have. And it could be Scale With related, or it could be something where you're leveraging Gemini to write a social media post, or you're using your chat GPT to create, bullet points in a presentation, whatever the case may be. But it reduces friction points, it reduces manual processes, and gives a quicker response so that you're not having to experience the same roadblocks that we've run into in the past, over the past 5 years, right? Lee and I worked at many organizations and global GSIs, and there's always been this painstaking process of having to wait on somebody else to give us the answers, and now the answers are right at our fingertips.
Everybody has time is a resource that is limited, and time, like for my sales folks on this audio, time kills deals. We all know that. So the productivity and efficiency gains from our Scale With AI agent embedded in the selling motion is pretty powerful, where it takes the deal velocity down. It continues to surface insights to stand out in that highly competitive environment that every industry is operating in. Lastly, the use case. I love this use case, and I know we're going to run out of time, but I'll just touch on it very briefly, which is what is the currency of every company that sells multi-year contracts or in any industry? It's churn protection. And so we love that use case, and we're seeing more and more, and we're moving into a meeting next week we're preparing for right now. Lauren, Lee, and some of the folks on our team is we're meeting with the head of renewals at a large or a $2 billion software company. The net is that what they're trying to do is protect the downsell. It's so critical. And that's all about not having people churn and walk out the door or give back licenses in their company to hit the attrition button. And so we see the same opportunity. The agent is the renewal or success person's collaborator. It orchestrates tasks to get the renewal strategy flowing quicker. It gets the differentiation going. And instead of the typical renewal conundrum, which is, give the house away, discount the price, all that stuff, we see our AI agent as the collaborative force to be with that renewal and success person to help them build more trust and differentiation and help them really, drive a different relationship with that customer to secure that renewal at current spend or higher spend levels. So that's another use case. We could always, as people listen to this audio and we're out there talking to our customers, it's pretty powerful. I'll leave you with this, and in this space, because I know we're almost at time, but I'd like to just, if you're okay, Lauren, Leah, just a couple quick thoughts on this, like how transformative this space is that we're operating in every day. Do we still have a couple more minutes?
We sure do. Go for it, Jen.
Oh, cool. Think about what we're just talking about in this last 30 minutes. It's there's this revolution, I'm calling it, such a transformative force. What you're seeing and we're talking about is like these AI agents being collaborators. You're not taking the human ever out of the loop. So you're always in the loop with the agent as a collaborator. And what we're seeing, and we're at the forefront of this, is that you're going to see AI disrupt the industry. It's going to create, you're going to see companies disappear based on, not riding this transformative wave. You're going to see, categories of software companies kind of disappearing that aren't embracing this and driving this. And at the end of the day, there's, the TAM of this space is almost $200 billion, I think I just saw, by 2027. So it's not a winner-take-all mentality. There's enough TAM for a lot of disruptors and innovators to thrive. And we see this as a great opportunity to shift the next wave of technology disruption for the better of companies, for the better of you and I as individuals. So it's cool. I'm extremely excited about our future, and I just wanted to point those things out. And I'll pass it over back to you guys.
Yeah, well, Jim, I really appreciate your insights on this, and I think you're right. It's definitely going to be a sink or swim type of situation as AI evolves and as companies begin to either adopt technology or figure out how to implement the technology. And we've already started to see it in the SaaS space, right? There are several companies that are trying to figure out how they can implement or integrate AI into their technology products, their solution suites, and things along those lines. What's nice about ScaleWith is that we sit on the precipice where we have this AI and SaaS solution that is different than everything else. We leverage social impact as a way to sweeten opportunities and make marketing better. But I think that you're 100% correct when you say it's just like cloud adoption or the adoption of social media, or go even further back, right? Digital advertising, taking away a lot of companies still use mailers, but marketing, digital marketing, things along those lines. A lot of companies were slow to adopt that as well, and now that is the main way to get in front of potential customers and prospects. So you're right. It is definitely going to be a sink or swim situation. It's going to be sooner than we think. Leah, did you have thoughts, or anyone in the audience? If you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to raise your hand. We are getting close to time, but we want to make sure that we answer any questions you have before we close this out.
I have a final thought, and that being sort of like the balkanization of AI. So because the AI is being very specialized, it's almost like you can have SME specialists of all stripes on your teams at a much more cost-effective rate so that they can help you be more innovative, strategic, and get you out of doing really manual, slow, low-impact, low-value work so that your company isn't falling behind and can focus on analyzing trends, looking at markets, looking at super geo. So I think that's the real revolution, is that it's elevating the quality of work that we do and letting the AI sort of take care of lower impact work. Because I think about how many, just toggling between systems, inputting data, downloading CSVs, that kind of stuff, and how much friction it causes and how much it takes away from your focus, your concentration. So we'll see a big reduction in context switching and much more creativity. That's what I'm really excited about. Lauren, you're on mute, I think. Well, I guess on that note, thank you for joining us. We'll have more of these in the coming weeks about AI workers and AI in business. Thanks for joining us, and hope to see you next week.